Picture this. A 19-year-old girl with nothing to her name sprints across a busy Denver intersection, dodging cars, chasing a stranger. In her hand, a wallet stuffed with cash. She could have disappeared into the crowd. She could have changed her life in an instant, but what she did next got caught on camera. And within 24 hours, millions of people knew her name. This is the story of Riley Moore, the homeless artist who proved that integrity doesn't live in bank accounts. It lives in split-second decisions when nobody's watching. Or so she thought. If you believe in real karma, you need to hear what happened next. Riley Moore wasn't supposed to be on the streets of downtown Denver. 2 years earlier, she'd been a high school senior with dreams of art school, living with her parents in a modest home on the east side. Then came the fire. An electrical malfunction in the middle of the night. She made it out. They didn't. The grief didn't hit all at once. First came the shock, then the paperwork, then the reality that at 17, she had no extended family and nowhere permanent to go. Foster care felt impossible at her age. She bounced between shelters, each one colder than the last, until she aged out of the system entirely at 18. By 19, the streets had become her gallery, her bed, her entire world. But here's what made Riley different. She refused to beg. While others held cardboard signs asking for help, Riley sat with her sketchbook, drawing portraits of strangers, capturing the architecture of old buildings, illustrating the pigeons that gathered near the cafe dumpsters. Sometimes people would stop, admire her work, and offer a few dollars. Sometimes they'd trade her drawing for leftover sandwiches. Most times they just walked past. She kept everything she owned in a faded backpack. 2 changes of clothes, a toothbrush or sketchbook, and a small Ziploc bag containing a photo of her parents. That photo was the only thing she grabbed from the house before the flames swallowed everything else. On that particular November morning, the kind where your breath fogs and your fingers go numb, Riley had positioned herself outside Cafe Marin on 16th Street. She wasn't asking for anything, just sitting, drawing, existing in a world that had learned to look past people like her. The cafe smelled like roasted coffee and cinnamon rolls, scents that reminded her of Sunday mornings that no longer existed. Have you ever felt invisible? Like you could disappear and nobody would notice? Drop a comment if you've ever experienced that feeling. You're not alone. The man appeared in a rush. Phone pressed his ear, briefcase swinging. He looked important, the kind of person whose time costs more per minute than Riley made in a week. As he brushed past her spot on the sidewalk, something dark tumbled from his coat pocket and landed near her foot. A wallet. Leather. Expensive. Riley's heart pounded as she picked it up. Her fingers trembled, not from the cold this time. She flipped it open and her breath caught. Crisp $100 bills. At least 5 of them, maybe more. A driver's license with the name Marcus Whitfield, age 62. Credit cards. Business cards for some investment firm. For 3 seconds, Riley sat frozen. $500 could mean a motel room for weeks. Hot showers. Real meals. Safety. Her mind raced through the possibilities, each one more tempting than the last. Nobody saw it drop. Nobody knew she had it. She could just keep it. Who would blame a homeless girl for taking an opportunity? But then she looked at the photo and the license. Marcus Whitfield had kind eyes. Maybe he had kids. Maybe grandkids. Maybe that money wasn't just money. Maybe it was rent or medication or something critical. Riley shoved the wallet into her jacket and bolted. Sir! Sir! She ran after him, her worn sneakers slapping against the pavement. He'd already crossed to the other side of 16th Street. She didn't think, just ran into traffic. A car horn blared. Brakes squealed. Someone shouted. But Riley kept going, arm raised, wallet held high. You dropped this. Marcus turned, confusion shifting to relief as he recognized his wallet. He grabbed it, checked inside, then looked at Riley, really looked at her for the first time. Thank you. Here. He pressed a 20 into her palm before hurrying away. $20 for saving 500. Riley stood there, catching her breath, watching him disappear into crowd. What Riley didn't know was that 30 feet away, Tara Lynn had been live streaming. Tara was a travel influencer with a modest following, documenting her Hidden Gems of Denver series. Her phone had been pointed at the historic cafe architecture when Riley's sprint across traffic hijacked the frame. The entire sequence, wallet pickup, internal struggle visible on Riley's face, the dangerous chase, the return, the $20 exchange, all of it captured in real time. Tara's live chat exploded. Who was that girl? Did she just risk her life for a stranger's wallet? She looks homeless, and she still gave it back? Find her. Someone find her. Tara ended the stream and immediately reviewed the footage. The raw honesty of the moment gave her chills. This wasn't staged. This wasn't performative. This was genuine human decency from someone who had every reason to be selfish. She downloaded the clip, edited it minimally, just adding text overlay. Kindness from the streets. A homeless artist returned a wallet with $500 cash to a stranger. Faith in humanity restored. She posted it at 11:47 a.m. By noon, it had 10,000 views. By 3 p.m., 100,000. By the time Riley had used Marcus's $20 to buy a sandwich and hot chocolate that evening, completely unaware of what was unfolding online, Tara's video had been viewed 2.3 million times. If this happened in your city, would you have filmed it, or would you have helped directly? Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. Riley woke up the next morning in her usual spot, a covered alcove behind a shuttered bookstore where the heating vent kept her from freezing. She had no phone, no social media, no connection to the digital wildfire burning with her face at the center. But Tara Lynn did. And Tara had been reading comments all night. Thousands of people wanted to help. Donations had started flooding her direct messages. $5 here, $20 there, some people sending $50, a few sending hundreds. Complete strangers asking, how can we reach her? Does she have a GoFundMe? What does she need? Tara made a decision. She returned to Cafe Marin at dawn, hoping Riley would be there. She was. Excuse me, Tara approached carefully, not wanting to startle her. Were you here yesterday morning? Around 10 a.m. Riley looked up from her sketchbook. Suspicious. Why? Because you're famous. Tara showed her the video on her phone. Riley watched herself chase Marcus across the street, watched the comments scroll by. 60,000 of, I don't understand. People want to help you, Tara said softly. With your permission, I'd like to set up a proper fund. Whatever comes and goes directly to you. No strings. You deserve this. Riley had learned not to trust easy promises. But something in Tara's eyes felt different. Real, why would you do this for me? Because what you did yesterday? Tara gestured at the phone. Most people wouldn't. And that matters. Them now. Her hand started shaking. Within 48 hours, the campaign was live. Tara verified Riley's identity, shared her story with permission, and posted examples of Riley's artwork. The sketches from her battered notebook that showed raw talent despite zero formal training. Art teachers commented. Gallery owners reached out. A local nonprofit called Second Canvas that provided housing and education to homeless youth sent an email. The donations climbed past $15,000. Then 20. Then 30. Riley sat in a Starbucks bathroom. The first time she'd been inside a coffee shop in months rather than outside it, staring at Tara's phone, watching the number rise. She started crying and couldn't stop. Not sad tears. Not happy tears. Something in between. The kind that comes when you've been holding your breath for so long you forgot what oxygen feels like. Second Canvas offered her immediate housing and a full scholarship to their art mentorship program. For the first time in 2 years, Riley had a key to a door that locked from the inside. 6 weeks later, Riley stood backstage at the Denver Youth Foundation's annual charity gala, wearing a navy dress that Tara had helped her pick out. Her hair was styled. She wore actual heels, borrowed ones that pinched her toes, but she didn't care. The girl who'd been invisible on 16th Street was about to speak in front of 300 people. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. You've got this, Tara whispered beside her. They become friends, real friends, the kind built on something deeper than viral videos. The MC's voice boomed to the ballroom speakers. Please welcome Riley Moore, whose story of integrity has inspired millions. Riley walked into the spotlight. The applause was deafening. She reached the microphone and looked out at a sea of faces. Donors in expensive suits, nonprofit directors, journalists, people who weeks ago wouldn't have seen her if she'd been standing right in front of them. She took a breath. "I don't have a big speech prepared," she started, voice cracking slightly. "I'm not good at this stuff. But I need to say thank you. Not just for the money or the housing or the scholarship, though those things changed my life. I need to thank you for something else." She paused, collecting her thoughts. When you're homeless, people look through you. You become background noise. Invisible. I spent a year like that, and I started to believe maybe I deserved to be invisible. Maybe I'd done something wrong. Maybe I wasn't worth seeing. Her voice grew stronger. But then a stranger dropped his wallet, and I gave it back because my parents taught me better. Because even when I had nothing, I still had that. And someone filmed it. And you all saw it. And for the first time in forever, I felt seen. Tears streamed down her face now, but she didn't wipe them away. The lesson I learned isn't that kindness gets rewarded. Life doesn't work like that. Most kind acts go unnoticed. Most people doing the right thing never get applause. But we do it anyway. We do it because that's what makes us human. That's what separates existing from living. She glanced at Tara in the wings, who was also crying. Righteousness doesn't live in wealth. It doesn't live in comfort. It lives in the split-second choice between keeping that wallet and chasing that stranger, between self-preservation and doing what's right. And I think we all have those moments. Every single day. Small chances to be decent when nobody's watching. Riley smiled through her tears. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. But more than that, thank you for reminding me that I was always worth seeing. The standing ovation lasted 3 minutes. 5 years have passed since that chilly November morning. Riley Moore is now 24, living in a small studio apartment in the Art District. She graduated from Second Canvas's program and earned a scholarship to Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design. Her paintings, vivid, emotional pieces depicting life on the streets, have been featured in galleries across Colorado. Each piece sells for thousands of dollars. And every single one carries the same signature at the bottom. For those who gave when they had little, and those who gave even when they had nothing. Half of her earnings go to homeless youth programs. The other half funds her life and her continued work. She still carries that worn backpack sometimes. Not because she needs to, but because it reminds her where she came from. The sketchbook from her time on the streets sits in a safety deposit box now. Too precious to risk losing. Marcus Whitfield, the man whose wallet changed everything, eventually saw the video. He contacted Tara, who connected him with Riley. They met for coffee, and Marcus revealed that the $500 she returned was meant for his granddaughter's medical treatment. Her returning it meant his family didn't have to scramble that week. Kindness had rippled further than Riley ever knew. Here's what Riley's story teaches us. Integrity is a choice you make in the smallest moments. Nobody was testing her that morning. No cameras were rolling, or so she thought. She had every justification to keep that wallet. Society had failed her. Life had been cruel. She was surviving. But survival without principles isn't really living. It's just existing. The truth is, most of our character-defining moments happen when we think nobody's watching. When the choice is easy and the temptation is real. Those are the moments that reveal who we actually are versus who we pretend to be. So here's my question for you. When was the last time you did the right thing when it would have been easier not to? Share your story in the comments. Let's create a thread of kindness that matters. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button. Every week, I share true stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Stories that remind us humanity is still worth believing in. Like this video if you believe character matters more than circumstance. Share it with someone who needs to remember that kindness compounds in ways we can't predict. Riley still walks past Cafe Marin sometimes. Not because she needs any more, but because she wants to remember. She sits on that same sidewalk, pulls out her current sketchbook, and draws. Sometimes people recognize her. Sometimes they don't. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that on one random morning, when life gave her an easy out, she chose a hard right instead. And that choice, that single witness moment of integrity, prove that your circumstances don't define your character. Your choices do. Next week, I'll be sharing another story that'll restore your faith in humanity. You won't want to miss it. See you then.